All right. All right. So, market opens in about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and mark out the levels and stuff that I'm going to be looking at. And then once I get in a trade or we're waiting for something to play out or we're being patient, then I'm going to go through and do some more explaining as to what exactly I'm doing. But long story short, this is a take profit trader account, $100,000 account evaluation. The goal is to make $6,000 before you lose $3,000. And so, yeah, you have to do it. So they have this consistency rule where you cannot make more than 50%, or one trading day cannot be more than 50% of your total profits. So basically, you can't make more than $3,000 a day, essentially, because they want you to make profits consistently rather than just big winners, big losers and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out these levels. So let's see. Asian session, start to finish, 17.2. And then London session ends at about 7:30. We'll mark the level high and lows. Okay, Asian session high and session low. Right about here. London session low and session high, but it already broke through that low, so we're gonna remove. But there was a reaction at this level twice, so I think we're gonna leave that one. But London session high. Those two levels are just right close to each other. How many points? About 40 points. Yeah, it's still probably relevant. Nah, I don't want to look at it. So let's delete this one. Now, let's add our 1 hour levels. 1 hour level there, good. 1 hour highs and lows. That one's good, that one's good. Yesterday's high level. Good. 4 hour high and lows. Good, good, good. I don't imagine we'll need. I'm going to go ahead and put them because that's a lot of room in between each profit bar. So it might be good to have them. All right. So now that we have our levels, we just take a look at the 5-minute chart. And I am not allowed to trade until 8:50. right there. The reason I say I'm not allowed to trade until 8:50 is because that gives me a little bit of time to see what the market is actually doing this morning. But if I look at the 1 hour time frame, it's trading above EMAs. On the 1 hour chart, direction is clearly bullish. If we go to the 4 hour, overall trend is clearly bearish, making lower highs. Made a higher low right here, so that could be a sense of a change in direction. Looks like the markets want to recover, but there's been no specific news giving it a reason to. So we're just gonna, based on how much it's been trading upward, yesterday, I should have gone bullish with my trades, but I ended up doing a lot of bearish trading. Not a great trading day yesterday for me. But market is open now. My bias is to the downside. I am bearish on the overall market, but I am not opposed to trading bullish if trend and all that makes sense. So on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, it was on a bearish pattern. You can see we're kind of breaking some structure right here, the 5-day, 5-minute. I want to see it come down to this level or move up to this level before I make a decision on anything. These two levels are really close to each other. I'm going to take this one off. So basically what I'm looking for is for it to reach one of these two levels. Idealistically, if I'm going bearish on it, I'd like it to come up here and show some signs of resistance, and then I'd go down to the 1-day, 1-minute chart, take a look. But right now, we don't have any confirmation on anything. Getting a nice red candle. Like I said, I am bearish on the market, but based on how it's been trading in the last few days, everybody else seems to be bullish. And if there's one thing I learned yesterday, and since I've been trading, is don't go against the trend. So I guess while I'm waiting for one of the two scenarios to play out, I might as well explain exactly what I'm doing. So basically, I did an eval for Take Profit Trader earlier this week. Today's Friday. And I was doing good Monday through Wednesday, and then yesterday I blew the account. I've just made bad decisions and held into a losing position. Like I said yesterday, I was bearish on the market, and I made quite a bit on this trade right here, but then Google had its earnings come out, at market close right here, and that's where I got stopped out for a pretty heavy loss. So I decided I'm going to start like streaming it, not necessarily for other people, more so just for me as like a trading journal and stuff. And then if people watch it, cool. But so basically, I've been trading on and off. So since COVID, whenever COVID happened, I lost my job whenever I was bartending. And so they gave me all the time and stuff that I needed to really sit down and learn the markets and stuff. And I turned a $500 account into a $30,000 account. And that's when, just like all new traders, whenever they start, I thought that I knew everything. My risk management wasn't super great. And so I thought I was good at it. So I started getting into options trading, and that's when I ended up blowing the account. So we are approaching this level right here on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, and we have created a fair value gap. If it continues to go in the same direction right here, so in order for it to go bearish, for the trade to make sense for me, I want this to turn into an inverse fair value gap. Basically, an inverse fair value gap is just where a fair value gap gets disrespected. So it's approaching that level right there. We need to wait for this candle to close before it is even considered a fair value gap. But as of right now, it is. I'm going to go ahead and go into the 1-minute chart and just take a look and see what it looks like. That's basically a 1-minute fair value gap as well, to the upside. So we'll just take a look here and see what happens. You can see it's bouncing off this resistance level pretty heavily. I'm going to see if this turns into a inverse fair value gap or not, or if we just break straight through this level. Okay, so this is clearly a solid fair value gap on the 1-day, 1-minute chart. It's coming down. It needs to test these levels again. I need to see, because this could go bullish again. So I'm going to draw out this equilibrium. Equilibrium is basically just a continuation confluence. So basically, from its previous lows to its highs, price needs to come down and test. Typically, anything under a 50% equilibrium is considered a basically discount on the price if it's going to continuate to the upside. And as long as we don't close below this fair value gap, then the continuation is still valid on the 1-day, 1-minute. And take a look at the 5-day, 5-minute. You can see we're testing this resistance level right here still have that fair value gap. Yeah, so we're just waiting for the perfect setup here. Okay, so we're testing these levels right here. We're still waiting on a change of trend, change of direction. I'm just going to zoom in here because I like to see my charts. Okay, and so this was a change in direction to the upside. We're going to see it probably come down to test this fair value gap, but basically the levels that I'm looking at right now, this is a fair value gap. I'm going to go ahead and mark this with a different color, fair value gap. These two big candles right here, those two red candles, that's going to be our order block. Change that to green. And then the move up prior to the change of direction, is our breaker block. So we're going to make that red. Basically, we want to see it enter into these levels right here. And respect the levels for a move higher, if we're going to move higher. If we are going to go lower, then I want this to change into a fair value gap or inverse fair value gap to the downside. And so we're just waiting to see if that is what we end up doing. I can't trade either way until 9:50 because there is a lot of volatility whenever the markets first open. So that is why I just wait until 9:50. But it's good to have the setup in place anyway. And you can see we're making higher highs right now. It still has not reacted to that 5-minute fair value gap. But it looks like we are continuing higher. But all of them are still valid right now. But that did make a higher high on equilibrium. So we're moving that up just a bit. So idealistically, if we are going to continue to the upside, I would like to get in somewhere right around that 50% retracement. You can see we're testing breaker block right now. In order for this to still be valid to the upside, we cannot break below this breaker block. But I'm really hoping this kind of makes a decision around 9:50. But you can see we got a change in direction right here. Not really yet though, because we're still higher highs, lower highs. Wait, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. We'll see if it makes lower lows or not. Okay, so you can see we just touched that equilibrium. Like I said, I'm not trading until 8:50, so we can't do anything. We're just sitting on our hands right now, but we can see exactly what happens whenever it does. What I can see it doing, testing this equilibrium, and then on the 1-day, 1-minute chart, as long as we don't close below this fair value gap, but it is testing it right now, so it's probably not going to be valid by the time that we trade. But you can see price hit below equilibrium, and it got bought up right below it. So we'll see if we break below this breaker block. The difference between fair value gap and breaker blocks is price cannot move outside of this block. If it does, trade is invalid. If it and candle just closed below this 1-minute fair value gap, so price broke below right there. So it looks like it tested the fair value gap on the 5-day, 5-minute. Yeah, you can see this big bearish candle right here. This one is probably going to end up forming a fair value gap as well to the downside. But since it tested that breaker block is no longer valid. Order block is still valid on the 1-day, 1-minute chart, but we need to see something happen on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. You can see this fair value gap is being tested right now. You have 2 minutes before this candle closes. Price is below equilibrium right now. What I would like to see is if we make lower lows or if we make higher lows right here. But the breaker block is invalid. So since it broke through that obviously made an inverse fair value gap right here where it disrespected this bullish fair value gap. So odds are price is going to continue to move to the downside. You can see on the 1 day, 1 minute, we still have a fair value gap right here being tested right here. Price is still below equilibrium right now, making lower lows or higher lows. Still have about 5 minutes before I can trade. On the 5 day, 5 minute chart, it did close below that fair value gap, so that made it invalid. We are going to remove that since it is no longer valid. It could be valid to the downside as a inverse fair value gap, but to the upside, it is no longer valid. The only thing that is valid right now that we have, the 1 day, 1 minute breaker block is no longer valid. So we can remove that. The only thing that's valid right now is the 5 day, 5 minute equilibrium. You can see we came down, tested those levels, and it's getting bought back up. So we'll see if we end up making new highs right here or if it is a solid change of direction. But you can see we had change of direction right here as it broke below that previous high. But we're still making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then now, in order for this continuation to the upside to be considered valid, it needs to break above this previous higher high or below this lower low. It looks like we did come and test this fair value gap on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, tested it and continued lower. But since we already tested it, that is no longer valid. That could have been a good trade setup, but it is no longer valid. So let's take a look at the 5 day, 5 minute. It looks like this equilibrium is no longer, well, it is still valid because we still have higher highs, higher lows. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Like I said, I can't trade for another 3 minutes because I'm still letting the market decide what it wants to do. But yeah, we're just waiting for a good trade setup. You can see we are trading below all of our moving averages, so that makes me more bearish on the trade. I want to see, it did fill this inverse fair value gap, so that leads me to believe that we are bearish. However, it did not make a lower low right here. Came down, tested these levels right around here. Again, we'll see if it breaks above this candle or if we continue to the downside here. 2 minutes before I can place a trade anyway. As of right now, what is my bias? Excuse me. I got one more. Excuse me. As of right now, what is my bias? My bias is still to the downside. Idealistically, what I would like to see happen is price come back up and test these levels up here to make a trade to the downside. But it looks like it's having trouble making a lower low right here. So pattern and trend all say that this is still a trend to the upside because you have lows right here, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. This is the only place right here where we had change of direction. We made lower highs and lower lows. So let's see what kind of change of direction we have. I want to see what we look like on the 5-day, 5-minute. 5-day, 5-minute trend is still to the upside, but we had a nice change of direction right here. Filled an inverse fair value gap on the 5-day, 5-minute. That shows price to the downside. Came back, tested it, and now we're continuing lower. It is 8:50, so I am allowed to trade now. What I would like to see in order to be bullish. See, that was a fair value gap right there, an inverse fair value gap now on the 1-day, 1-minute chart. That's an inverse fair value gap because it got disrespected right there. We are made higher lows right here on the 1-day, 1-minute. I'm interested to see what happens here. There's no specific, well, that fair value gap got tested already. There's nothing specific that's like screaming, hey, I want to go this way or that way, besides the 5-day, 5-minute trend, which you could see it had changed direction there. High, low, high, and now we're really just in a place of indecisiveness right now. Okay, but you can see right there, we broke, we made lower lows. Okay. So what do I want to see happen? I'm going to come down, test these levels. I want to see like a fair value gap form on the 1-day, 1-minute. Because there's clear change in direction, right? And there was clear break in direction to the downside there. This could actually be a fairly decent trade right here. So if I just create an order, if I put my stop loss, sell, if I put my stop loss up there, I might take profit at that level there. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. If I can get in right there, right here, I'm risking more than I'm making. So I don't like how much of a risk that is, so I can always adjust my position and risk for all right. You can see it's too late to get into this move right now. In order for me to get in to the bearish side of things right now, I want to look at the 5-day, 5-minute again. Strong downside, but on the 5-day, 5-minute, we are still technically in an uptrend. Like I said, if I could have traded right up here at this level, I would have. That would have made a phenomenal trade from this resistance to the support. But I'm not going to disrespect the timing of the market because it's super, super volatile first thing in the morning. So right now, we're still waiting on the 5-day, 5-minute chart to form something. Okay, so I do like this. On the 1-day, 1-minute chart coming up and testing equilibrium. I like those levels a lot. If we can get up there and test it. Change that to 5. So I think this is a trade that I am willing to take. Right. So I'm in this trade right here. Like I said, I'm looking for a continuation to the downside. 1-day, 1-minute, obviously, I'm going to get out of the trade if it breaks this level right here and shows a change in direction. Profit target is the next support level. What could invalidate this is that on the 5-day, 5-minute, it looks like we are still in an uptrend right here. You can see we had heavy buyers right here, heavy lowers, but we did not make a lower low on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. And it's super volatile within the 5 minutes. But if I see something in this that shows me it is a change in trend, change in direction, then I will absolutely get out of it. But you could see right here, let's see what we're doing. We are above that 50% mark, so this makes a good deal for us to go to the downside again. So I like my position in it. And if we come up and break structure, then obviously I'm out. And I only allow myself to trade 3 times a day. It minimizes my losses and maximizes my gains. And you can see we're in with like half a position right here. My full position is normally 10 contracts. And this is a solid risk reward ratio, a little bit more than 1, probably a 1.4, 1.3. Here, let's see. Oh, a little more, 1.7. Yeah, nice little risk reward ratio that we have there. Trade, all right, so we could see trade is going in our direction for the time being, at least. I hope all this what I would really like to see is like a strong break of structure right here to the downside. But the biggest thing that I'm focused on is letting my winners run and cutting my losers off quick. So what would make me believe this is change of structure, change in direction, yada yada? On the 5-day, 5-minute, the only thing that scares me is it still kind of has patterns of being an uptrend. Unless we break below this level right here where I have my take profit, then the trend is still kind of valid. You can see we're getting a big push right there. A bunch of buyers coming in right there. So if we get stopped out, could be a solid change of direction. But we're still trading within it. There's no specific fair value gaps or anything like that I'm seeing. Higher, low, or lower, high, here. So you can see we're still in a downtrend overall on the 1 day, 1 minute. That's the high right there. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Lower low, lower low, lower low. But that is why that I put my break of structure above this level right here, because if we break that, then it's obviously not in our favor anymore. It's not in our direction. But the trend right now is still to the downside on the 1 minute. Idealistically, I would like this 5 minute candle to do exactly what it's doing right now, breaking lower. Oh, well, that was not expected. See, we got stopped out there heavy, but that is a lot of volume to the upside. Break of structure there. How much are we down on that one? Down about 400. That's about what our stop was. So that is a solid move to the upside. Especially on the 5 day, 5 minute chart. Let's delete all these. So we did get stopped out of our first trade. We'll take a look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart. Fair value gap. Nice getting stopped out of it. Let's see what we're doing. On the 5 day, 5 minute chart, higher highs, higher lows. Let's see if we're breaking out of this trend. We really don't have anything crazy going on. 1 day, 1 minute was a clear break of structure to the upside right there. But it looks like I missed the big move. I want to see how it reacts to these levels up here. Like I mentioned yesterday, the mistake that I made was I was heavily bearish on a bullish trend. And what I don't want to do is make the same mistake today. So you can see 5 day, 5 minute. There's still break of structure here to the upside. Strong pattern. I want to see how it reacts to these levels again. I want to take a look at the ES2. Let me put both of those up. ES in Q, M in Q. One minute chart on both of them. Lower, lower. Nothing crazy going on right now. Oh, wait, those are the same charts. MES. Yeah, lower, lower. Nothing crazy happening. I'm gonna get rid of that order real quick. Tested that fair value gap. Looks like we're making more moves to the upside. We'll see if that makes a higher high or not. I want to see how it reacts to these levels right here. Looks like we have a continuation to the downside. Let's see what the 5 minute looks like. What's the 5 minute on this look like? Higher lows, higher lows. Lower highs, lower highs. Nothing crazy happening. We're still waiting on some kind of confirmation. I mean, to the upside, it's testing this fair value gap right here. If we get a close up here, then that could be a bullish right there. So NQ made a higher high right here, but ES made a lower low. So that tells me that we are still heading to the downside. That makes me want to take a short position on NQ. If I'm going to sell it, my stop loss is going to be there. Take profits going to be there. But I definitely want to see how we react to this level here. Because ES made a lower high while NQ made a higher high. That is, what would you call it? Gosh, what's the word? I'm having a hard time thinking of it again. Oh, it did make a higher high on that one. All right, we're testing these levels right up here. Again, this could be a nice confluence to the downside on NQ because ES is clearly not going to make a higher high on this move. So, that being said, what I would like, this is probably going to make a higher high. ES is not. So that tells me that we are going to continue to move to the downside. Yeah, you can see we made a higher high there. Okay, I'm going short. If I sell, limit, stop loss, give it a little bit of room, take profit, lower lows again, risking 310 there in order to make 1800. I like that risk reward. I'm going to go ahead and set this above this next level here. And we could be wrong on this one again, but let me take a look at that ES again. I could have rushed this one a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. But NQ is making higher highs. ES is not. What is that called? Let me go back to trade data. I have my entire strategy and stuff. So, and SMT divergence. That's when one of the indices is making a higher high and the other one is making a lower high. That typically means that the change of trend is to the downside and this indice is lagging. So that's the one that we would want to take a short position on, and that is what we did. Could get stopped out. If we get stopped out, there could be one more position that we could enter, but it looks like we're going to get stopped out right here. And that puts us down, let's see, 618. But it's good that we're doing small position sizes. Move that, move that. Let's just see how it plays out. See, it's testing that level right there. See what the 5-day 5-minute chart looks like. 5-day 5-minute chart, we're testing that level right there, of course. And we created a fair value gap, or we're creating. There's still 4 minutes before that candle closure. Let's go back to the 1 day. So idealistically, okay, so we got stopped out right there. Again, trend is moving to the upside. 5-day 5-minute, 1 day 1 minute change of direction. The ES is not making higher highs yet, but we took 2 short trades. Damn, why am I so pasty? There we go. Took 2 short trades, lost on both for a total loss of 717 on the day. We get 1 more trade opportunity. Idealistically, since we were wrong on 2 short positions, then I would like to change my bias to the upside because I do not want to repeat what happened yesterday. But you can also see we're testing these levels here. Breaker block. Change of structure there. It really makes me want to go short again right here to catch this move down. Because this is not making higher highs. And this one already did. And we're getting some change of direction. Change of direction right there. We are going to do it one more time. Yeah. We're going to go one more short. Where? Come on, baby. So let's trade, create new order. I'm going to sell, change the direction. I want to see if that makes the... Because if this makes a higher high, then it's no longer valid. Then there's not a change of structure. But on the 1 day, 1 minute breaker block. Change the direction. Breaker block. Risking about 200 for a $1,400 gain. However, we are trading above those, but this shows a move to the downside. That's a limit order. I'm going to make that trade. It looks like we already have our change of direction. Yep, you got to modify it. All right, so we're in for our final short. Stop loss, obviously, above this previous high. And the reason that we're doing that is because you can see the NQ made a higher high right here, but the ES made a lower high right here. So typically it's an SMT divergence where the NQ is lagging behind what the market is doing right here. Now, if this one comes up and breaks structure, then obviously we're wrong again. And if this one goes up and breaks structure, I mean, we get stopped out. We're wrong again. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. So we'll see what happens, what plays out here. Because SMT is getting a lot of volume right there. I feel like one of the things that I do is I really rush trades. I think I need to become more patient. But this looks like a textbook SMT divergence. If we can get clear change in trend, the 5-day, 5-minute chart looks like that. Higher highs. This 5-minute chart looks like that, lower highs. Zoom in here. Cancel that. So you can kind of see what we're doing on both the ES and the NASDAQ. So this is my last trade of the day. If it starts going in my favor, I do not have a problem adding to the position. But when I say going in my favor, not only do I want to see a break of structure to the downside, but I want to see some kind of other continuation confluence, a change in trend, or not change in trend, but break of structure. Let's see if we can fill one of these inverse fair value gaps, like right here that we had. The only thing that I would say would be concerning is to the upside, how it reacts to this level right here, the 50% equilibrium, because it could catch some momentum there and continue, but it looks like we're breaking structure right here, getting a nice push to the downside. And we had a lower high right there. And it looks like, did we form a fair value gap? Not yet. No fair value gap being formed. Inverse fair value gap could be getting filled right here. And that would be a good what's it called? Continuation confluence to the downside. On the 5-day, 5-minute chart, I want this candle to close below that level. That would be idealistic. It'd be confirmation, and then if we came up and tested levels, I could consider adding more to the position. Like I said, that 50% level of equilibrium could be getting touched and stuff right now, so it could get some momentum and could just continue the trend to the upside. But since we had an SMT divergence at the top right here, that makes me confident in that trading plan. So we'll see. Fair value gap getting filled right here. Yeah, fair value gap's getting filled, so I don't even have to worry about that. Okay, and we created a fair value gap right here. Boom. So we can come up and test these levels once again. If we test these levels, I would consider adding to my position. But price is moving dramatically right now, so I kind of want to move my buy order back out. I could lock in a few of the trades. Let's see, total right now we're up to 50 on the day. Made a higher high there. Okay, yeah, see, we're making lower lows on this chart right here. Trend is obviously to the downside. Let's see if we can break below this. Like our area of take profits is going to be this resistance level right here. See, trend is in our favor. Up 391 on the day. Something I would consider doing. So here, I'm just going to pull up this chart. So this is 1 day, 1 minute. That's not technically a fair value gap formed right there yet. This one got broke, so we can take care of that. But the 1 day, 1 minute formed a fair value gap right here. let's see if we can come up and test that level. Never hit our original take profit. Trading below both those levels there. That was a nice break of structure there. So this is what we're going to learn. If that was a good move to the downside, it's coming back to test this fair value gap. Obviously, I'm no risk in this trade. I'm moving my stop. I'm moving my stop to below my entry. So I'm no risk on this trade. Let's see what the 5-day 5-minute looks like. Boom, got a huge fair value gap on the 5-day 5-minute. Looks like continuing lower. However, markets have been adjusting pretty rapidly. You can see 5, 10, 15, and we were up 5, 10, 15, and we're back down. So it's moving dramatically, up 870. So it could just as easily get bought back all the fucking way back up. But we are risk-free on the trade. We could end up being down on the day, but we are right, and we want to let our winners ride. Right? So it's right. It's in our favor. It's in our direction. Didn't come up and test this fair value gap, so I'm not really interested in adding more to the position. But let's see a break of structure below here. Nice, baby girl. I do want to pull up that ES and see what you're doing again. Yeah, it's still making lower lows. Now, some of you could argue, oh, well, this is an SMT divergence the other way. You can see a breakthrough made lower lows here on this chart, and it's not here yet. You can see this trend is still in our favor. We're still moving on this trend. If we can break below this level, then it's good. 266 is what we're up for the day. I'm going to go ahead and bring my stop above this level, because if it makes a higher high, change the direction off that one, then I just want to lock in some of the profits. We still are probably going to end up down on the day, but I guarantee that I make some on this trade in case there is a sharp change in direction. But it looks like we just kind of came up. We tested that level. 1 day, 1 minute fair value gap still never really got tested. That move, let's see if we're making lower lows. Strong 5-minute push. Lower lows there. Nice. I am gonna go ahead and where's my buy? I am going to trade, create new order. Let's exit that. I'm going to buy 3 of the position at market where my original stop was, just to lock in some profits. That means I gotta adjust this to modify. Same thing with that bracket. So what I've done there is I've just locked in some profits down here at these levels. just in case it does decide to make a reversal. I have my stop right above these levels in case it does make a change of direction. I still lock in some of the profits. I'm currently up 331 on the day. If it does hit this level, then I will be stopped out. But we let winners run. We let winners run. Still made lower lows. Did we make a lower low here? Let me go to the 5-day chart. We did not make a lower low there. So that could be an arguable SMT divergence to the upside for the people that are bullish. And it looks like we're going to get stopped out on the 1-day, 1-minute chart. If not, if we continue lower, goody, goody, goody. Not, I mean, we're profitable on the day, so it's still okay. 5-day, 5-minute. Let's still continue down. What's the 5-minute on the NASDAQ look like? Sorry if these charts are kind of everywhere. It might be hard. Kind of explain this shit. All right, that's what I like to see. Continuation, continuation, continuation. Break below, break of structure. Break, 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 break. It's going to have a hard time testing these levels right here. No, maybe not. 5-day, 5-minute bearish. Broke below that level. Trend is in our favor. Do-do. Do-do-do-do. Made another fair value gap right there. You can see it got tested, rejected. This one's no longer valid. Where's that? Delete, 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 delete. It's no longer valid because you can see we got another fair value gap. Bearish fair value gap right there. Got tested, rejected. So that one's already been reacted off as well. Where was that right there? Rejected, tested, rejected. That's where, that's when we moved our stock down. There been any other fair value gaps? Not that I'm seeing. And you can see it came up, tested that level again. Yeah, so I mean, I still like this trade right where it is. We could come back, get stopped out here, another change of direction, but you can see there was a couple good trades here. Unfortunately, I was going short. Not unfortunately, I could have been right, but I went short right here. No, I couldn't trade until right here. Yeah, I went short right about here, and you can see that's when we had a big push. But I mean, there was great opportunity both ways. Like if you're a bullish trader and you got in one of these areas, boom, fair value gap tested, boom, good trade right there. I, however, was a bearish bias, so it makes sense that I couldn't see that. Like I just couldn't visualize it because my bias was to the other side. But I caught this one here with an SMT divergence from the ES right there. Boom, down. We got a change in trend a little bit right here. Boom, yeah, bullish fair value gap. Probably a change in direction right there. What are we up? We up 250. Nice, nice, nice. Let's get stopped out right there. Boom. Now, some of you could be like, well, why didn't you just take profits down here? Because what if it just broke through that level and just continued to go down? I'm still profitable on the day. Like, can I move me over? Like, you can see I'm up 186 on the day. So nothing crazy. Discard changes. Up 186 on the day. Let me see if I can move this up so we can see. I mean, I made 3 trades. No more open positions, but that is my deal, is I only make 3 trades in a day. It keeps me from losing significantly. And since I've made 2 losing trades already, and I had 1 winner that came back and wiped them both out. So we are positive on the day. Good day, not huge profits or anything. The only way that I would trade more than 3 times in a day is if I've won every single trade. If I'm trading good, then I keep trading. But solely since I made 2 bad trades off rip, 3rd trade was able to recoup those losses. So I'm totally content with today's trading. Had good risk management. I did not let the losers run. I let my winners run a little bit. Obviously, it changed trend, didn't go in the direction, like the continuation direction that I idealistically would have liked. But we made money on the day. Wasn't a huge profit day, but especially at the very beginning of a new account, you don't want to make huge wins because you don't want to put on that much risk. Obviously the goal is to make 6,000 before you lose 3,000. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm doing this for myself as a trading journal, so I don't need to fucking make 3 bands in one day. Could I? Yes, but risking that much could, if it was to go wrong at a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, that's 2 trades and you lose the entire account and you got to reset the entire account. That's just not worth it to me. And there's a consistency rule here for a reason. They want you to trade consistently, making profits over time. Now, once I get a little bit of a buffer in the account, then yeah, I might make some more risky trades and stuff. But as of right now, totally content with today's trading. Now, and what's great about it is it's just 9:30, 8:50 to 9:30. That's when I do my trading. And look at that shit. Look, 9:50 to 9:30. There were 2 phenomenal trade opportunities. I didn't catch this one because my bias was wrong. I caught this one. Where's the other trade that I took? Let me see. Executions. Okay. So yeah, so I sold right here, hoping for a continuation because of my bias. Got stopped out right here. Beautiful. And I didn't get right back into the upside. So obviously I didn't catch this trend because my bias is to the downside. Tried again right here because we were testing these levels. Got stopped out right up here. And then I caught the SMT divergence, which was right around here. And that's what caught that big move, which recouped my other two losses. And then took some profits there, took some whenever we changed trend, changed direction right here. Right in between those two times, there's two phenomenal trades to be taken. I took advantage of one of them. And luckily, since my RR ratio is higher than 1-to-1, I was able to become, where is it? Profitable on the day. Huge profit? No, but $186 on the day. So it's good. I mean, I'm content with it. So what do I do with the rest of my day? Well, I am gonna go to the gym. I really probably need to do some moving around. Dislocated my fucking knee. I dislocated my fucking knee doing pistol squats the other day, so I probably need to. And it locked up last night, which fucking hurt. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so there's some rehab that needs to be done there. But, yeah, good trading day. I'm content with all the trades that I took. I need to put it in my trade data sheet. I could go over this with y'all if I want to. I mean, I kind of learned about futures trading from TJR, so this is mainly a bunch of his stuff. I just put it in a trade data sheet, so it's easier for me to read and comprehend. But yeah, so you can see these are how I was trading. And yesterday is whenever I blew that fucking account. So that's obviously why I'm doing this now, the live stream, to keep myself accountable, not to take positions like that. Failed eval. So today is the 25th. We traded MNQ. And we made $186. Good trading. Heart stops. 2 win. No. 2 losses. 2 1 winner. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, and so that was the week. And this is day 1 of eval 2. Yeah, so I had 3 days of the eval, then I failed the eval yesterday. So this is day 1 of eval 2. I still like to keep my weekly P&Ls. Yeah, it was closed on Good Friday that day. So what is my P&L here? Maybe my fucking calculator would work. Let's see, 735 plus 1075 plus 858 minus 4,875. That was a huge loss. You don't fucking want those. plus 186 equals. So this week I was down a total of $2,021. What's that put me at for the month? Puts me at plus 4005 plus 477. No, 788 plus 2330. That still puts me at plus 9,102 for the month. So still good trading, still content. I just had one really bad loss yesterday that I shouldn't have had. So it happens. But you win some, you lose some. Not that bad though. Don't fucking do this shit. Yeah, so now I am going to go to the gym and what happened? Yeah. Now I'm gonna go to the gym and work out, and then I gotta do some editing, get some editing and stuff done. Then I'll probably spend some time with my little brother, and I'm actually gonna get another job, bartending. That's my goal for over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is go into a few places and get another bartending job so I can pay for my just regular daily expenses with that day job, because it only takes me what time is it? It's 9:46 in the morning. It only takes me 3 hours to trade in the morning. So if I can throw all this money into other investments and stuff, then we're good to go. And then I can work from 4 to 11 at night. I like people. I like bartending. And I get paid to do audio and video work for one of my buddies. So yeah, life is good. Good trading. I'm going to spend some time with the family and go to the gym. This is my trading journal. I'm not really doing this for anybody, so if anybody ever sees this video and is interested in anything that I have to say, then by all means, leave a comment, leave a like, anything like that. If you think this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, feel free to share it to anybody that you think could benefit from it as well. But with that being said, markets are closed tomorrow, so I will see y'all on Monday.